Hello and welcome to another friction log. In this recording, I hope it's a short one. My main goal is going to be to update the friction log website to the latest release of NextJS. Why do we want to do this? I think the first reason is just we don't want to fall behind, obviously. You should always keep your software up to date. And the second one is I have here I have the release notes in here. I can see that NextJS has updates every like 2-3 months. So I think we're on this one right now. So 9.3. And then we have 9.4, which we're going to skip and we're going to go straight to 9.5. So going into the details of 9.5, the first topic is actually what I'm interested in this far. Why? The reason is we, as you might have heard in one of our episodes, we store our data in Graph CMS. It's not static 100% within the code base. So I have the friction log website here, and let's say that I want to change something. For example, I want to add a new line in here and I want to do test. I publish my changes, but obviously the website doesn't know that the content was updated. So even if I refresh here and then I go into episode 4, I still don't see anything. What will need to happen is before 9.5, we will have to have a webhook here where we would trigger a new build that goes to Vercel. Vercel is going to compile and it's going to republish, and then we're going to see the changes. Obviously, that's there is one more point of failure there, which we don't want to have. The other thing that I can do if I don't have a webhook or I don't want to do a webhook is, what if I'm making changes on the website? But most of the time, the content changes and the code changes are not in sync. Sometimes you might be able to get around by that because it's going to grab all the data. But in this case, it doesn't make sense. So that's reason number one. How much experience do I have with this updating? This is the first time that I'm doing it. This is also the first log that we're recording that is not a first time experience. So there is some experience with Next.js, both mine and just from the website that it is already there. I know what I want to do. The other thing that I have is I check some of the other features that we're announcing here. I think the only one that I'm interested in right now is the optional trailing / in URLs. So in this one, it's basically just a configuration on the next.config file. And it's basically just gonna automatically redirect pages like this to this. And if it's set to true, then it's gonna be from this to this. I think this is gonna prove to be useful for SEO purposes. So, and it's mainly aesthetic. So you can see that obviously I'm using here Edge, and it's gonna work in both ways. So if I leave the slash in here, or if I remove it, then it's gonna be. So I think that's gonna help a little bit with SEO. So I might check that out. But other than that, I'm gonna go back to the top where the feature that I'm interested in is the regeneration. So Next.js introduces static site generation methods, and then now we have incremental static site generation. So the promise of this is basically I am gonna add something in my code that it is gonna be like a valid time for the cache, and then it's gonna go and regenerate it from some other time. So let's see. We should get benefits of static, but with excellent support for dynamic data. To get the best of both worlds, Next.js introduced ISG. updating site content after you have already built your site by using the fallback true option in get static paths. You can register new static pages at runtime. Okay. Today we're announcing the general availability of incremental static regeneration. I'm just reading through this, which you can also see. So, inspired by state while revalidate background regeneration. This is something important. The revalidate flag is the number of seconds before, during which at most one generation will happen to prevent a cache stampede. Okay. No spikes in latency. Pages are served consistently fast. I don't know if you have noticed the website, but it is quite fast. Pages never go offline, which means something fails and then the old page stays like that. Load database and backend load. Okay. And there is a site in here that I'm gonna open. This page is statically generated with NextJS, but fetching data from GitHub. It's deployed to Vercel Edge network, so the content delivery network. Here's how it works. Okay, I can see the source. And I can also see the reaction. So I'm gonna bring this as a separate window. And then obviously you can see that a lot of people have already tried it. It has a GraphQL query against GitHub. And I'm interested in the part where, okay, this seems fairly simple. Okay, so let's say that I add some icing here, 119, and then I refresh this once more, and then 119. So when I update, when I refresh, it kind of like recompiles, and then the second time it's gonna be just there. So in theory, if I update some content on GraphCMS, then I just need to refresh the page once, and then everybody else is gonna have these updates, which seems like fairly straightforward. Okay, so I am searching for get static props. Okay, it's being called there. And this revalidate one is the flag that we need to add. Okay, this should be fairly simple. So I can see that right now is 9.5.2. So I already have my project already running. So let me stop that. And I'm gonna do an npm update, and then we're gonna do next at latest. I guess I have to, we have a fixed version in there. So let's do an npm install next add. I think the update didn't work because we don't have an indicator on how it should go up there. So let's see. This is gonna update. And I'm gonna do it through a few pages, starting obviously with the index. I know what I have to do, so I have my get static props in here, and then my variable should be around here. And what I am gonna do is I am gonna just test it locally, making sure that everything works okay. As I said, I might give it a try to the trailing slash at the end of the URL. And then I am gonna create a pull request, and then that's gonna deploy a Vercel site, and then I'm gonna try a couple of updates and see if that works. Okay. So now let's see my package.json. I have 9.5.2 in here. I'm not sure if I want to keep this to keep updating it when we do another deploy or not. So I am just gonna remove it, and I'm just gonna run an npm install, which I assume is not gonna do anything. Just to try to keep the version control safe. I don't like too many changes whenever we're doing builds, so I try to stay with static with that. We'll see. Maybe even Rick catches it on the pull request and mentions something. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do run it locally, which is basically just doing next step. And then it says that my server is ready, and this is still loading. Okay, it's coming up, and now we have it. So this is the local, which takes a little bit more time on build every page, which looks okay. So I want to try this. Okay, so now that's doing the redirection automatically. I didn't have to do anything for the trailing slash. I assume it's because by default is false, which means it translates this into this, and that is what I expect. Okay, good. One thing to less to worry about. So going back to my main thing, what I want to do is in my index, based on the example here, basically I just need to send the props and then a revalidate one on the return. So technically this would be it for my index page. So in theory, if I come here and I'm gonna add a little, I don't know if emojis will work, but why not? It's a good test. So I'm gonna do a save and publish. Now, since I am running locally, I don't know if by doing this refetch is recompiling. It doesn't say that it is recompiling. And then they supposedly recompile the flag. So my second attempt should have it. And there it is. So I think this works just out of the box, which I think it's amazing. And I do have a little notebook where I'm going to put some of the things. So I'm going to walk through it once I submit the pull request. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this because, you know, the only way to test is to test on production. So let's do it again. I'm going to do a refresh. And then I'm going to do another one. And it's still there. Let's do one more. There you go, it disappears. So I think it's related to the fact that I'm running it local and even takes more time to do it. So I think this is good enough. This is a quick update. I see that overall my website updates and that I have access to logs and I can go into these articles. I did saw a little error over there, so nothing. So for example, Graph CMS, searching is working. I can navigate to that. I think it's fine. The URLs are working okay. External links, like going to Spotify, which if you haven't checked the podcast, you should. It's in there. I can see all the data flowing. So this is a very minor update overall. It's not like I'm changing the version of Webpack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to apply it to the different pages that I have here. So the other one is the index of logs. And then of course the log page, if somebody refreshes on that. And then the index of the blogs and podcasts. And we're gonna add this here. And now I have it. As you can see, it's a very small website still, but it's interesting, this warning. I haven't seen it before, so I'm going to check it out because I think this is something that can be fixed. So let's say I'm going to go into a log, the Vercel one, and then I'm going to go into the log. And let's see, where do I... This thing went back. Let's say logs. Actually, that should be friction logs. And here is where Vercel is going to be. And I'm going to add something on the title in here. And I am going to do a refresh. This is not going to update it. Oh, it did. Great. Okay. So it is working. I'm pretty sure of that. I should need to recompile this. So I am going to roll this back. Obviously, the main website doesn't change because it doesn't have that version. And then I'm going to refresh this. One more time. And it's not going away. Could be related to this warning. Log record with the anonymous function. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Now it's Vercel. Doesn't say reloaded anymore. Perfect. It might not refresh everything, but I'm quite happy with it because I don't need to recompile, and I'm not seeing any recompiling happening here. So this should work. So now let's go into basically log record. And basically says export default props, and then it wants me to do this, which So it's trying to make it to be too fast to refresh done. Okay, so so I have log record here, but it is not happening for block content. So I can do it in a one line here, like export const block content. So export const log record equals and now it's failing on imported as log record. So whenever I'm using log record here, I gotta update that as well. So since it's not the default, then it's gonna be like this, and they should fix it. I'm gonna clean this up, and I'm gonna go back to navigate a little bit on the site, just to see that everything is working. So I'm on the main site. From here, I want to go into the blog. It has all the notes. Everything works okay. I can enable dark mode, or I can disable it and make it light. Now I want to go to all the logs, and I want to navigate to one. So everything looks okay. And then of course blogs, I can see all the blogs here, and then episode 1. And now it's all good in here. And I think that's these warnings are because of my Grammarly extension, so I wouldn't worry about that. I think this is good. Let me see if I can. These can read and change. Okay. I need to find a way to disable it maybe for this. Okay, so that works. So that makes sense. I am gonna bring Tower, and I'm just gonna do a quick review of my changes, which is the log record, the package.json that has all the updates. And then of course I changed the name of the repo. We never changed it. And now I have the revalidate. I have the correct import, and everything is using revalidate. And then I'm just gonna call this commit what it is, and I am gonna publish it. In the meantime, it's gonna update in a bit. I am gonna bring here, so as a general note, I guess as a delight, the process was pretty fast. Another delight that I noticed was just the release notes. Like, it's plain English, it's focusing on the things that should be focused. I examined what I needed. I mean, I like it. There was an example of how these work, which is what I was targeting for. So this is, to me, a big win. So I don't have any roadblocks. So I'm just gonna type here, friction. I guess this is like the issue that we have here with the log record was something very simple, but it was, I would say, a little friction. So I'll just add a warning about component name. So I wasn't like I would expect that it would check in here. I like it because I think it makes the code look better and more consistent. But things like that. In general, I would just say the goal is update frictionlog.com to latest NextJS. Roadblocks, none, and principle of least astonishment. I don't have anything right now. I'm gonna do another analysis once I come back, but other than that, I'm gonna move this out of the way, and I'm gonna jump into Get, create a pull request. I'm gonna request Rick to review it. I don't need to do anything here. So I already review my code, so I am just gonna create a pull request. Let's see, and then Brazil is gonna do one environment, which I'm gonna run a couple of other tests in here. And I'm gonna close this, and I'm gonna stop my local. So unless I absolutely need to come back to this, that should be it. All right, so the build is ready. Let me open it. Okay, so I am gonna start by going back into, let's try something different. So we have the podcast information here. So I'm gonna go to podcast, and then I am gonna edit the one of this. So I am just gonna go with episode 4, and I'm gonna do this hidden test in here, save and publish. So we should see that on the topics, which is here. And if you haven't heard this, you should. Okay, so no changes yet. Oh, there you go. So now I do the second update and it's there. No recompile needed. This is awesome. I'm good to go. Let's undo this and say save and publish. And then one more. So one more, second, third, and that's it. Text it. Awesome. Okay, I think this is good enough. This is good to go. I am just gonna leave it open so Rick has a chance to review it. Other than that, this is it for this one. I promised it was gonna be a short one, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.